Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? This is the Ball Talk Show on Roto Street Journal. I'm your host, Tanner, otherwise known as Smooth, and this is my guest, CJay. We are going to run through 2025 NFL Draft wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks. Two we're particularly interested in are wide receivers and tight ends. Quarterbacks, not so much. Last year was obviously loaded at quarterback. This year is almost polar opposite. So CJay, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I haven't seen you guys since we did our annual Super Bowl betting, where I did pretty well. I had to go back a few months. How did you actually do in the Super Bowl? You actually no, you're a Chiefs guy, so it's actually a good topic. But yeah, we're gonna dive into a receiver class. I'm kind of sad I missed out on the running backs one. Obviously, I have about 20 running backs I love. Receivers might be some potential there, but we'll see. Tight ends I'm pretty high on. Quarterbacks, I think they mostly suck. And then we're gonna dive into some props. So FanDuel, DraftKings, whatnot. Win some money tomorrow. It's a long weekend, so.
All right. Do you want to start off with wide receivers?
Yeah. So you do have an interesting top 10. I wish we could pull up a graphic, but this is why we need Traycott. This is why he makes the big bucks. He's basically runs Sports Center. But so Tanner's top 10 receivers does have surprise at number one. Going with Luther Burden at wide receiver 1, followed by Ted McMillan, Travis Hunter, Stanford receiver Alec Amanor, Emeka Ibuka, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, Pat Bryant, which is a surprise, and Matthew Golden, which actually we both think is severely overrated. So
very.
Receiver 9, Jack Besh at 10, as Johnson 11, Ricky White at 12, which is about 20 spots higher in the consensus. So why are you all in on Luther Burden at receiver 1? It seems like right now he's probably, I think he's at consensus 3, I want to say. Let me see. He's actually right now at 4 on Fantasy Pros. So why are you up on Burden after kind of a tough final season at Missouri?
So one huge thing for me is breakout age, specifically for wide receivers. Luther Burden broke out at an earlier age. If we want to, dive into the deep metrics of it, Burden was 74th in college dominator rating, 74th percentile, and 80th percentile college target share, and 94th percentile college breakout age. His 2023 season for Missouri was unreal. He put up 3.2 rec yards per team pass attempt and a weighted receiving dominator rating of 36%, which were both higher than Ted McMillan. McMillan never posted a season of over 3 yards per route run. Burden posted 3.5 in 2023. He had more yards per route run than Marvin Harrison Jr. He had 3.44. He was 7th amongst all pass catchers in yards per route run in 2023. He forced 63 missed tackles over the course of his career. He had 20 in 2023 with more receptions than he did in 2024 and had 30 missed tackles in 2024. So a few key things for me, obviously early declare SEC. That's just like, that's a sweet spot for wide receivers. Burden is one of 4 early declare SEC wide receivers to post plus 0.90 EPA per play and a 90-plus total EPA as a true sophomore. Those other 3 receivers are A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, and Malik Neighbors.
Decent company.
Very decent company. So that was from Mr. W. Youssef on Twitter. So if we're talking like, it's really just that sweet spot of early declare SEC. Like he's one of 3 first-round picks from a P5 conference to post a 90 plus PFF receiving grade as a sophomore. His other two are Jamar Chase and Jaxson Smith-Njigba. So both elite of elite prospects. So I'm personally very, very high on Burden. I know a few others might have him as wide receiver one. For the most part, McMillan is your wide receiver one pretty much everywhere, and likely your 102, 103 in rookie drafts. So McMillan actually had a 79th percentile breakout age. So he broke it a little bit later, but still just elite. Both very different players. Tet's obviously huge. Less separation. That's kind of the worry there. And the worry for Burden is he's a screen merchant.
I was going to bring that up a little bit, that the upside is crazy with him. He's going to be an awesome after the catch. Like, are you worried, though, that he is considered a screen merchant? Maybe some quick slants, like they just try to get the ball in his hands. I mean, that offense probably wasn't the most complicated thing in the world.
he is just so good with the ball in his hands. So another stat I saw was so all power. This is from Scott Barrett. So this is best career missed tackles forced per reception. All power conference wide receivers, minimum 175 career receptions. Second is Luther Burden, and third is Malik Neighbors. First is Elijah Badger, which is kind of like a sleeper. But yeah, Luther Burden and Malik Neighbors are up there. So what's another interesting thing I saw about Luther Burden? So out of this entire class, Luther Burden led all pass catchers and career percentage of team receiving touchdowns when on the field, with 58%. Alika Iowa-Minor was 52%, and he was second. So I'm quite high on him too as well, Iowa-Minor. I know Iowa-Minor over Egbuka might come as a bit of a shock as well. I might.
Well, there may be a clear bias if we watch the running back tape last
CJay may or may not have bias towards Ohio State. But you know, like I contemplated putting Jaden Higgins over Amika. I do
want to get into Iowa State guys later because there is some nice prop bets that I like later on.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I think I like Jalen Knoll. I don't know if that's even a debate right now, but if I'm choosing between Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll, I'm picking Jaden Higgins 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So
right now you have Burden 1, McMillan 2. Does it bother you at all? Not bother you, but would it shy you away that he's plus 250 now to go in the first round? We kind of thought it'd be a late first round guy. It seems like he's almost a second round lock at this point. I mean, weird things happen. 250 is not completely canceling the thought of it, but
correct. It's not dead whatsoever. I actually love the prop of Burden going in the first at plus 225. But you know, we don't know exactly what NFL teams may think. In my personal opinion, when I'm grading a player, draft capital has nothing to do with it. So
a little bit.
Sorry, what was that?
That is why. I mean, I don't care super much about draft capital, and obviously before the draft, we don't know what their capital is. But I do care about it sometimes. Like a few players where I have them neck and neck. If I think someone like Golden, like you have him way down at 9, I kind of think he sucks. But I still have him at 5 because I know he's probably gonna be the second receiver off the board.
Yeah,
so like if he lands in a Dallas or something, then that's a great spot for him.
Yeah, personally, I think Travis Hunter, Tet, Burden, and Amika should all go in the first round.
Yeah.
Realistically, Iowa-Minor is obviously I have him higher, but that doesn't mean he's going to go higher in the real draft. So, you know, like I said, when I'm grading these players, draft capital doesn't mean nothing. That's why I like to get these rankings out before the draft because I don't really want to tweak them too much after the draft unless they get a dream landing spot. So any other objections towards my rankings, CJay?
No, I mean, going a year ago today, I had Burden number 1.
Okay.
Wide receiver one. It's just that last season, I mean, it wasn't the best situation for Missouri. They definitely fell off after that Cotton Bowl win. Ohio State probably broke them.
Truly an atrocious season for
Yeah, a lot of hype, brought the quarterback back, and nothing was going on there.
I think a lot to do with that. Burden's regression, at least, has to do with the situation. Brady Cook wasn't bad in 2023. He had a PFF grade of 34th amongst QBs, but he went to 93rd in 2024. And Missouri went from 24th in passing grade in 2023 to 139th in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So the offense as a whole was dead. I'm betting on 2023 Burden.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, I have him at 3, but like I don't. It's like I can't really argue with 1 versus 3. Like
Yeah.
I think, and honestly, McMillan's getting a lot of smoke recently. Like I listened to McShay a lot and like Daniel Jeremiah. They're not high on Tet at all. McShay actually has him as prospect 50 overall, which is
Interesting.
Yeah, I think he has him at receiver 3 or 4 at prospect 50.
I know Trey Harris is another guy that's just been polarizing. Like some people have him as their 1, some people have him as their 10.
Noel is like that too, where he was like a nice sleeper 2 months ago, but now he's everyone's sleeper, and now he's receiver 6.
Yeah. Also, the combine just pumps that draft stock too. Like people saw Tet ran a 4.58, and his draft stock went down a little bit,
which is good at his size. The guy's 6'5".
That's an 80th percentile speed score. That's solid for his.
And
size.
he actually he made a ton of plays after the catch. Like I think he's a little faster. And unlike someone we're going to talk about, like on tape, I think Tet's faster on tape compared to someone who we both hate, which is Matthew Golden. The guy runs a 4.29. Everyone fucking jizzes their pants.
Literally.
It's out of control. And for a guy that I loved Scott Barrett's quote where he said, he's not a late bloomer or like a 1-year wonder. He's a 4-game wonder. And I actually want to even go further and say he's a 2-game wonder.
Yes, correct.
I have a stat that against Georgia, he blew up against Georgia and then Arizona State in the playoff. 26% of his receptions and 32% of his yardage came in those 2 games. What are we doing here? I do not get it. A lot of people have him at receiver 1, receiver 2, like locked in. It's driving me crazy.
I'll kind of add to that. He was amongst the entire wide receiver class. He was 17th in rec yards per team pass attempt, 21st in rec yards market share, and he was 200th in PFF grade this year and 218th last year. So I don't think Matthew Golden's anything special. He might be athletic freak, might be great on special teams or something. I don't see it personally. I have him in my top 10. He's going to get high draft capital.
Yeah, it seems like him going to the Cowboys, if McMillan's off the table, that's where he may be going. Especially Jerry Jones, so lazy, like pandering to his Texas crowd.
I could see Jerry Jones being like, yeah, we got to get this guy Matthew Golden.
That, and then I also saw Barrett because Barrett's like the only guy that's really off of him, which I love. He's a huge fan of our show. Him and Nick are pretty close by each other's podcast a bunch. But he averaged this year 62 yards per game, which would be the lowest round 1 receiver mark in over a decade. Which just proves like he doesn't produce. He's not great like analytically. He doesn't produce. There's nothing good about him.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have him on any of my boards before the combine.
No,
not a single one. Like there's a few others too that are like Andrew Armstrong. He's like 24. Not a bad sleeper. He was pretty good this year actually.
Yeah, led the SEC in receiving.
He was like 4th in PFF grade this year. He was absolutely solid. Matthew Golden is a walking fade.
I agree. There's really nothing I wouldn't even consider drafting him, honestly. He has butt written all over him. Yeah. There's those Texas receivers. Bond is the same way for me. Bond, honestly, I want no part of Isaiah Bond.
So
that's maybe a topic for another day.
yeah.
I need to get that deep. I know you are low on my boy Makaribuka. Maybe not even low, I guess is the word, because I don't think you're that much lower on him.
I feel like I'm right where everybody else is.
Yeah.
Igbuka's good. Obviously, he played with phenomenal competition throughout his career at Ohio State. But there's just a few guys that I like more, like Jaden Higgins. He had a 93rd percentile college target share and a 76th percentile college dominator rating and a 71st percentile breakout edge. And Mika had a 73rd percentile college target share. Obviously, you're going to know it's lower because he played with better players. But he had a 46th percentile college dominator rating and a 67th percentile breakout edge.
I think Ohio State receivers are just tough when it comes to that because he did still lead the team in receptions this year, and that's against Jeremiah Smith, who's to come out tomorrow and he'd be the number 3 overall pick. But like, I don't know. With him, he's not sexy. He's boring, kind of, which is weird because he was like number 1 consensus, number 1, number 2 in that.
He was like 5-star out of high school.
Yeah, I think he was in Luther Burden's class. They were 1 and 2. Yeah,
Burden was 1.
Yeah, but yeah, he's not sexy. He's bigger, like 6'1", 205, I believe, than most like slot guys. Ohio State they didn't really use him vertically that much, but when they did, like there was that play against Oregon, which was beautiful. Like I think it was like a 40-yard shot play. There was that, and then there was another one, I believe maybe it was Texas, I forget, where he has shown the ability to go vertical. Ended up running pretty good time. I think like 4.47. I want to say.
Yeah. Wait. Igbuka?
Yeah.
I think he ran a 4.5.
4.5. Which that's honestly, with him, that's kind of fine with me because he just gets open. I know there's that lazy comp with Amon-Ra that everyone brings up.
Yeah.
Which I can see like size-wise.
Amon-Ra.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is just like the big boring slot until he got to the NFL.
Jack Beckett, Puka Nacua.
Exactly. But yeah, Mecca, he played big in big games against Michigan in 22, 23. With CJay Stroud, he averaged, where was it? In 2022, he averaged about 90 yards a game in like a passing offense in Ryan Day's scheme. And then this year, when Chip Kelly took over, where it's going to be more balanced, more run heavy, he only averaged 63 yards this year. But he always produced, maybe not an elite level, but he did have that like kind of banged up year with McCord where it sucks anyway. But
McCord actually was really good this year for Syracuse.
He also threw I could do it an hour and a half in McCord.
Yeah.
But yeah, that offense is definitely tailored towards him. But no, I can see Igbuka being like a solid fantasy wide receiver too with like a 10-year career. Like just being an NFL starter, and he's gonna make you happy. Like being kind of boring, like the 12 to 15 points a game, like
for sure. Something I found kind of interesting was that Igbuka ran a 4.5, obviously, but Jaden Higgins is 6'4", and he ran a 4.47.
I like Higgins a lot.
Higgins is kind of like freaky, a little bit.
Go to I can't click it because I'm not logged in, but if you go to comments, hit our boy Tony D Love.
Wait, where? Oh, comments.
Yeah.
Igbuka first wide receiver at plus 300. Book
1300.
No, absolutely not. I would not advise anybody to put money on this prop.
There are worse long shots, but
Juan Pena said, "What are 3 running backs you guys think that are worthy at picking up in the first and second round for fantasy drafts?"
Are we just talking about redraft or what? We can just make up whatever we want.
I assume it's. I would just rank the running backs. Probably Genty, Hampton, Caleb, Trevion, Henderson, Judkins.
If we're just going redraft, I think it would obviously be Genty would be in the first round, and then I think he'll be right around like the 12-ish, like kind of like the Clyde Edwards-Helaire year. where he was going off between like pick 10 and 12. And then maybe Hampton if he goes to the Broncos, but that's probably it for the first or second round, and we go.
Hampton's got a lot of hype too. He tested very well. So
yeah, I know. I wish I dove into that running back class. But continuing on, back to the receivers, we do have Travis Hunter, where I believe we both have him at 4 overall. Let me see.
I have him at 3.
We have him at 3.
I think
it sucks because he would be receiver 1 if he was a full-time receiver. I'm kind of getting to the point though where in the beginning, like 2 months ago, it was he's cornerback 1, he's gonna be a corner first, play a little bit on offense. I think it's flipped, where like I could see him playing full-time receiver with like a nickelback package.
I think I've seen it a lot, or actually I haven't seen it that much, but wide receivers get paid more.
Yeah.
They have longer careers than corners.
Mm-hmm.
And with the teams that are at the top of the board, like say he goes to the Patriots or say he goes to, like all these guys are in dire need of a wide receiver. He's going to get snaps at wide receiver. It's just we need to hear it from the coach or him as to how much that is. So
it seems like he's a lock for the Browns. And I think he's like minus 10,000 or something to go to. There, he would be cornerback 2 behind Denzel when he's on the field, and then receiver 2 behind Judy. Like I feel like he'll play more receiver there as well.
Yeah.
I know it stinks because I would love for him. I mean,
he would be
aside from that pro day route, which almost made me fall out of my chair. How bad that was! That was like one of those like 16-year-old one-on-ones like that you see on like Rivals, like
Snapchat stories.
Yeah, like a 7-on-7 drill, which was just pathetic. But yeah, it kind of sucks. Although the consensus though, so I've kept him in my first round. Like I just want to keep him right now at 12. He's just been sitting there, and I just don't want to move him out. I'll probably move him up depending. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm actually low on him now. He was down to like 15th overall, and now I think in Superflex he's at like 8.
That's insane.
I am. So I have him actually at 10, and I'm 3 under. So he's going 7th overall in Superflex.
I'm just gonna come out and say that there is no. If I have any picks in the top 7, I don't think I'm letting Travis Hunter fall past 107 personally. Like I have there are 7. You can debate 8 elite prospects in this class from my rankings, and I think it's Genty, Caleb, Hampton. Those are the running backs, and then Burden, McMillan, Travis. Those 3 guys are all elite. And then
and a tight end we both love.
And Loveland. We both love Loveland very much so. And I'm a big Harold fan, junior guy. So
yeah. So we have Hunter going off the board, and then let's see what else we got. Anything else that sticks out to me from yours? Oh, you have Pat Bryant going receiver 8. I thought I was high on him. And I have him down at 19. But
like you were saying with this wide receiver class, like it's just not as good as previous years. It's not nearly as deep. I feel like after that first 5 to 6 are all up for grabs. So I feel like you could rank 8 through 20 very differently. Like Jack Beck, I like him, but I don't know. I'm not seeing a ton of things that I like too much about him. Obviously, he played with Neighbors and Brian Thomas at LSU. He was a freshman. He actually outproduced them.
He did.
So there's a few things about Jack Beck that I like, but Pat Bryant, he was 9th in receiving grade this past season, and that's amongst all P5 pass catchers. He also had a 90th percentile college dominator rating and 70th percentile college target share. He's 6'2", 200. He's 22 years old. So he's a pretty young guy. I liked what I saw at Syracuse from him. And obviously, we were both fading Matthew Golden. I don't really love Jack Beck, so that's my reasoning for putting Pat Bryant ahead of them. And Trey Harris is my wide receiver 7, and he's obviously had an unreal past 2 seasons, honestly, for Mississippi.
Yeah, we're kind of in. I mean, here and there, like I have Harris at 6, you have him at 7. I have Higgins. You have Higgins at 6. I have him at 7. So we just have those flipped. There's not really the top 10s. Kind of it is what it is. And then I am kind of into like some of those guys will end up hitting, like the two like Noel could hit, but there's like the back Tez Johnson. There's like that group that I have at tier 4, which is like Beck, Royals,
Tez is hard. Tez grades so well in mostly everything that I do,
except for like being an adult.
Except the size of a being 150 pounds. Yeah, that's like that's like first percentile weight, like the lowest you can get for any NFL player.
He could arguably play for like Pop Warner and still weigh in fine.
So something that kind of sticks out to me, he's gonna be like a late round guy. And
I don't know though. Do
you know Bo Nix?
Think I'm in like the 4th or 5th. Like
he like Bo Nix's family like adopted.
I was gonna say they're stepbrothers or something. Well, like I don't know what you call that.
He's like an honorary like family member of the Nixes. And they already have Troy Franklin. I could totally see him just reuniting the whole Mighty Ducks crew.
He's a little like Hamler, but I could definitely see that.
Kyle says Beck will be a landing spot guy for me. I kind of agree. Like draft capital is kind of going to be key actually for Jack Beck. I feel like.
Dude, that thing I was playing earlier. Click the next one from Kyle.
Oh, Nick Nash.
So I didn't notice this, but I saw a tweet that said like the oldest players on draft day. The guy's gonna be almost 26. I think he's like 25.8 or something nuts.
Yeah, he's 25.7 years old.
Dude, you seriously should have got a job like 3 years ago. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm super, super low on Nash. And that was before I even know that he was an old man. I have him down at 26, which is 5 lower than these are.
An old guy I have he's wide receiver 18 for me is Andrew Armstrong.
Yeah.
He's kind of an interesting sleeper.
I have him at 35, but that's even still plus 10 against DCR. They have him at 45. So
yeah,
they're like plus 30 on him.
He's probably going to go undrafted.
Mm-hmm. There's that, and then there's, if we want to go into our sleepers, just because we top 10, it kind of is what it is. You have Pat Bryant in there. I have Noel in there. That's really the only difference in the top 10. And then some of your sleepers, so you just talked about Andrew Armstrong. And then I have his, although it is kind of getting a little chalky now, but I do have his teammate, Isaac Tesla, I have him at 24, which is plus 3. And he's just kind of, his production sucked. But, like, I'm just going off his measurables. Like, he's a crazy, crazy athlete. Like, jumps out of the gym. I think he's, like 6'3", 200-something pounds. He's a crazy, crazy white athlete. It's nuts. But he also has never produced. So, like, who knows? He just somehow take, like, a late dart throw in, like, round 4.
Ooh, I have a very interesting sleeper. Dante Thornton Jr.
He's in Tennessee.
6'5", 200.
He's fast as hell too. I think if he was in the combine, he'd be like
he ran pretty much the exact same speed Golden did at 6'5".
Except it shows on tape Golden has like never made a play in his life.
Correct. He has an 100th percentile speed score. Like he's very, very good.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not very, very good, very athletic. But he actually, like this past season, I think he was second amongst all P5 receivers in yards per route run. So he's interesting.
And then you have another guy too, Ricky White, up at 12.
Ricky White.
I'm super. Well, I was pretty low on him. I have him at where do I have Ricky White? I have him at 21, which is like right around the consensus. You have him up at 12.
Yeah, I like Ricky White a lot. He's obviously not a P5 receiver. But So just out of, we were talking dominator ratings, target shares, breakout edge. Ricky White is like, if we're talking those 3 metrics, like perfect. 96th percentile college dominator rating, 100th percentile college target share, and a 96th percentile breakout edge.
I feel like I'm too low on him.
He was first in rec yards per team pass attempt and first in rec yards market share for this entire class. So there's a lot of things that he leads in this class. He obviously didn't play for, a big household name school. He played for UNLV.
He also, their quarterback play this year was miserable. I remember I watched a lot of their games because they had the Holy Cross quarterback who couldn't throw the ball, and then he leaves the school mid-year just like he wanted more money, which I think he's still schoolless right now, which is a good career decision. And then actually may have went back to JMU with his old coach. And then the backup was even worse. Like, I mean, they still were actually pretty good. I think they finished with like 2 losses, but that was not a pro style offense. That was just a nonsense offense. He still balled out like that.
And he's not like he had a 4.49 or something. Like he's quick too. But he's
he was hurt he was at the combine, right? And then he ran really slow and then he killed pro day. But he said he was hurt, I guess.
Yeah. He had a pro day and that's when he ran 4.49, I think. But yeah, I like Ricky White. I might even like put him I probably would put him above Tez Johnson, to be honest, just based off of Tez Johnson being so small.
Yeah, I may boost him after this.
Yeah, I agree. Kyle says, I think I like Nash just because of his name. He sounds like, like a Northwestern Mutual, like.
Do this. Nick Nash, like, played it like Bowdoin or something, and then now he's going to be an accountant for the rest of his life. Which he honestly should have if he's 27 years old.
If we're talking, like, nice names, Luther Burden III, LB3.
What about Isaac Tesla? How can you argue with that?
That's an.
Actually, that may be a touchy subject.
I'm going to be honest.
If there are any, cross them off for all the liberal GMs. That's what we need to do. Is there anyone else anyone else that you love as a sleeper, or if you want to get into some fades? I know we already talked about fading Golden. Anyone else that you are just like a do not draft guy?
Do not draft.
No, do not like just someone that you see him on the board in like the second, third round, and you're like,
yeah. So I know Jalen Royals is another guy that a lot of people have talked about. Torrey Horton is a guy that I particularly kind of like. Both very good receivers, to be honest. Both had over 80th percentile dominator ratings. Both had over 80th percentile college target shares. So both graded very well. Both are very athletic. They run 4.4s. So it's really just going to be how much opportunity the team that drafts them gives them. They're probably going to be like day 2, day 3 guys, to be honest. But I know Horton actually has gotten a little bit of hype just based off of him testing pretty well.
Yeah, I need to watch some more of him because he's someone I haven't really watched much, and I just kind of stuck him at 15 just because it was easy. Really, like I do need to watch a bit more of him because I think there are people that do like him.
Yeah, so in that stat earlier, I was talking about Luther Burden was first in career percentage of team receiving touchdowns when on the field. Torrey Horton's 5th. Jalen Royals is 3rd. So those guys like might be pretty good. Those are kind of like diamonds in the rough. I would totally take shots on those guys. All of my top 15, I would consider draftable. Jalen Noel is another interesting name that's tested very well, but I just don't think he's super good.
I do like him. He's kind of like a vertical slot guy.
Yeah.
And his routes are pretty sick too. I don't know. I like him. I feel like he's going to get overdrafted capital-wise, like maybe top of the second-ish around there.
100%.
In the real life draft. Some like middle tier guys, like from 15 on. Kyle said thoughts on Kyle Williams. He is getting a lot of publicity right now.
A
I
ton.
do like him though. He's a great route runner. There's that one clip of him absolutely dusting Travis Hunter.
I've seen that.
Completely destroys him. I do like him as like in the NFL draft. Like he'll probably maybe third round, possibly. I'm not sure, but I have Kyle Williams, Ty Felton, solid. Shamir Dyke, I'm like plus 15 on. I usually hate these guys because it is like a Christian Watson type, like where he's just a vertical guy and like not much else.
Yeah.
But I could see him. He's fast. He makes plays downfield. It's really not my type of receiver, but I think he's better than receiver 36, which is where he's at right now in the consensus. Jalen Lane is okay. Arian Smith, I just think of him just destroying Ohio State in that that bowl game, just absolutely like. But that's all he would do. He gets hurt a ton, and he's just another vertical guy. He's like a Will Fuller, I guess.
Xavier Restrepo.
I like Restrepo a lot. I don't care if he runs a 5'6". He's a baller to me.
He is a baller. I think he's good too. I think Restrepo is a good football player.
Yeah. I don't think, and he's not as slow as that. Like he's just not. He's not a burner, but he's not slow. As that 40 was disgraceful.
He's just like he's more bursty and agile than he is fast.
It'll be like a bigger slot. Like
he's slow.
Yeah.
He runs a 4.9.
I don't think he's actually a 4.9 guy though.
He goes to like faster in
4.6
game, but
yeah.
Only when
he'll be the middle of the field slot guy, anyways.
Yeah.
Who else do I?
Isaiah Bond. That's a guy I'd fade.
I was gonna bring that up. We can jump into fades. He's my number one fade.
I don't know. I've seen this guy like top 10 on a lot of boards, and this is a guy that came out before the combine and was like, I'm gonna run faster than Worthy, and ran like 0.22 full seconds slower.
He's an all-time clone.
He's
also an asshole. He's like what's her name from the Bengals.
That publicity stunt ruined his draft capital.
It really did. You can't be talking running like a 4.2, like a low 4.2, 4.1, and then not even coming close to it.
Still ran a 4.43. Like that was good.
And then he gets like arrested like last week. He's an idiot. There's no one I care about less than him.
It's that. What are you gonna do, man? Texas football.
That's very true.
Fade those Texas wide receivers. That's all.
They don't develop it.
They don't.
Let me see. There's someone. Oh, Savion Williams. Miss me with him as well. That's like the typical like, oh, next Devo, like one of those guys. He reminds me of who's the guy that's like haunted fantasy players for 5 years. Played for Colorado. Oh, Laviska Shenault. He like reminds me of him, like where he's not good at anything, but he's just a big guy that like breaks tackles in college.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Dante Thornton Jr. is probably like the actual good version of Savion Williams.
Mm-hmm.
But Savion Williams is being pumped up boards because I don't know. To be honest, I don't know why.
Yeah, I understand that one.
I don't get it. Another guy that's interesting was Efton Chisholm III.
I don't even think I have him on my board.
From Eastern Washington, he had a 99th percentile college dominator rating and a 93rd percentile college target share.
Yeah, you can make the lazy comparison and say he's the next Cooper Kupp.
Attention.
Oh,
also, wait. Cooper Kupp went to Eastern Washington.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I just screwed that one up. I was just imagining like the red turf in my brain. When you said that.
Yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure.
So
I mean, I think Efton Chisholm was like second or third in PFF grade amongst all wide receivers this past season. So, there might be something there, but that's like deep sleeper. Like I don't even see him on a lot of like NFL draft boards. He's probably go undrafted.
All right, should we jump on to tight ends after saying we do like 15 on receivers and we're at like 40
minutes on receivers? All right, yeah. Let's tight ends will be shorter. Quarterbacks will be
actually we'll keep Kyle's question for the quarterback one, the one that's at the bottom. We'll wait till we hit quarterbacks.
Kyle said if Texas Wires are fade but are getting good buzz, does that mean Quinn Ewers not as trash as I think. Quinn Ewers is trash.
Yeah, he's trash.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I was watching Hughes on the Gruden camp yesterday, and he's such a cocky prick, and it's just like, dude, you're not.
Oh my God, I saw
the only reason that you
that.
didn't get benched is because you were like a senior on a very good team. They just like didn't want to break the locker room. That's the only reason.
Well, he was like, was he the number one QB recruit coming out of
Oh
high
yeah,
school?
no, and he left. He went to Ohio State as a senior in high school. He left early because he wanted to get paid. Took a bag from Ohio State. Was mad that he wasn't going to start over CJay Stroud. It was like a sophomore, junior then. And
well, this past season, he was like top 3, 4, 5 QBs in this draft on most boards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was high on him a few years ago.
Boards. Well, he got benched, didn't he? Or he lost, or no, he got injured, and Arch just played really well.
Yeah,
one of the two.
Yep. All right, so this is where we are in agreement with. We've been in agreement with this for a long time. Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren. I mean, it's honestly, I'm loving it now because now the film guys on Twitter are starting to come around, and I'm seeing it more and more and more. Everyone before was like, "Oh, Tyler Warren, tight end one, blah blah blah." It's flipped, and I'm very happy.
Yeah, Colston Loveland's the best tight end in the draft. He is like elite. Mm-hmm. Like potentially not Bowers level. No one can be Bowers level. You can't say anybody's going to be Brock Bowers. But if anyone is going to push for that top 5, top 3 tight ends, like Colston Loveland is your guy. Mm-hmm. Personally, the reason I'm fading Tyler Warren, a lot of it has to do with late breakout. He has a 40th percentile breakout edge. He, obviously there was Theo Johnson there the year before, but he was I like Drew Ayar a lot. So I think he's pretty good QB. I think that helped him a lot. I just personally, in my opinion, I think Loveland, Fannin Jr., and even Gadsden the second.
We'll touch on him in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll touch on him too. But yeah,
I agree with the Warren thing. It's like everyone loves him because he's just this big like goofball. He's like a poor man's Gronk where he's
recency bias.
He's in highlights. He takes screens. He does the Wildcat stuff. Hayden Winks had a bunch of great stats. He said he saw I think it was 31 screens, bleaks, rub routes, like all within 5 yards this year on his tape. And he said he had 77 yards per game, but 63% of his receptions came within 5 yards of line of scrimmage. That's just not impressive. People are gonna say, "Oh, Wildcat." If you're in the NFL, how many times are you actually gonna line him up at Wildcat? He drives me nuts. He's 6'5", 256. He can't block. People think he can block. He's not a blocker at all. He's like a Mark Andrews type, but like less skillful. He's just like the big. He looks like those old school Gronk tapes where he was like bouncing off like the Commanders players and making them look like children.
Yeah.
He's doing this at 22 years old. He did nothing for his first 3 years at Penn State. Absolutely nothing. Theo Johnson started over him easily. Like it wasn't even close.
Yeah. So I did mention Brock Bowers earlier. Actually, Colston Loveland has a higher percentage of team receiving yards when on the field in their career than Brock Bowers.
Oh, yeah, there's that. And then there's not this past year. So the reason what sucks is that Michigan's quarterback room was so dreadful last year that he obviously was great because he was targeted a bunch. They couldn't throw the ball over 10 yards. And so that made him look like pretty mediocre. Yeah. People forgot how good he was the year before with JJ.
Yeah. My top 3 is Colston Loveland, Harold Fannin Jr., and Oronde Gadsden the second. So those are all the 3 guys that I'm taking over Tyler Warren personally.
I have Warren at 2, but I think that is most of a draft capital thing. Like my brain just being like, all right, he's probably going in the top 10-ish, probably 10, or even 7 to the Jets. Which,
God, that is such a fade in real life and
yeah, oh, it is.
it's
I
not.
just know it's gonna happen, and that's like what's crazy. Like all these, and like someone like Jeremiah McShay, like a lot of those guys, they love him. And I'm like, how can you be a film guy and love this guy when all of his receptions are within 5 yards?
It's the film guys that love him.
That makes me not like him. I can see the
And
highlights.
it's the film guys that hate Burden. And it's the film guys that also don't have Loveland as tight end 1.
Which is crazy because Loveland has better real life film. Like maybe not the better highlight tape, but
Loveland is a way better receiver than Warren is.
He's a better blocker. I mean, he's not the greatest blocker, but he's at least tries, and he'll be an inline guy. He can go outside. Warren is just going to be pigeonholed into like this gimmick shit. Like if he goes to like the Dolphins, I mean, he's not going to. He's not going to fall that far. But like a team like the Dolphins that would like do like Johnny Smith stuff with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's like where he would flourish. And if he goes to like the Jets, it's going to suck.
That's someone I can absolutely see taking Tyler Warren is the New York Jets.
I'm seeing a lot of that.
What better franchise to take my biggest walking fade in this draft than the New York Jets?
Yes, exactly. We'll just be irrelevant, thank God.
Yeah.
So we did. If you want to talk about Fannin, I had him at 3. I think that's even. Yeah, that's actually higher. Now, Elijah Arroyo, who we both are, we kind of like. The consensus has him at 3. We both have Fannin. Actually, you have him at 2. I have him at 3.
Yeah.
But when he's kind of like when you guys were talking about Genty last week, where, he hasn't played anybody, blah, blah, blah. Well, your other co-host. That's the opposite for Fannin. He dismantled every good team that he played against. Like Penn State put up over 100. He had another game against a Power 5, absolutely dominated that too. Like he's a baller.
Fannin's very good. Also, he kind of fell too recently with him running a 4.71.
He's not a 4.71 guy.
He's not. If you really care about these guys and what they run and they're boxers, it really doesn't matter at all. It's what we see on the field. Also, deep metrics mostly. Harold Fannin Jr. is like. I personally think he's an elite tight end prospect.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's probably not going to get the draft capital he deserves. He probably is going to go in round 2 or 3 or 4. But he has an 100th percentile college dominator rating and a 92nd percentile breakout age. Both higher than Tyler Warren. He was first in rec yards per team pass attempt and first in rec yards market share. Both Colston, Loveland, and Harold Fannin Jr. both had a higher targets per route run and in both 2024 and 2023. So for me, it's not close. You can argue Gadsden, my tight end 3, and Warren.
Who I love, but yeah, 3 is kind of crazy.
For me,
it's going to be like a round 6. Maybe.
Okay, me putting Gadsden at 3 may also be like a personal vendetta against Tyler Warren.
I can see that.
But like if we're comparing the two, like he's got a higher rec yards per team pass attempt and higher rec yards team market share. So
if Gadsden played for Penn State, I think would be having different.
Gadsden used to be a wide receiver,
mm-hmm.
And then in 2022 he, moved over to tight end, and he ended up being like 10th in receiving grade amongst like all P5 receivers that year, in his first year as a tight end, which is, absurd. So there's the ability to adapt quick. Whatever team drafts him he'll do whatever he asks or whatever they ask. So Gadsden has hands.
He has his dad was a stud too. I used to love watching his dad.
Was he on the Dolphins?
Yeah.
His dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old school AFC East. But
yeah.
no, I do like Gadsden a lot. But me even liking him a lot, I have him down at 8. But I like this this tight end class a lot. I have so on Loveland, Warren, Fannin, and then Mason Taylor, who you're very down on. I have him at 4. I think you have him at like 10 or so, or 8.
I know he was a good prospect. Maybe I'm uneducated on Mason Taylor. Maybe you can educate me, but I don't see it. I know he's a very young guy. He's only 20. I think he's the youngest in the class. Besides Harold Fannin, I think Fannon's the youngest actually in the class. But someone's mentioning, or Cal says Gunnar Helm.
I had Helm at 4 or 5, and I just bumped him all the way down to 7 the other day.
I think he's
to move up a few other guys.
I
actually like him. Like, I liked watching him. That was the only player on Texas who I liked next to Jay on Blue. But I don't know. There's so many tight ends in this class where I don't think you can go terribly wrong from Taylor. So like my 4, where is it? I have Taylor, Arroyo, Ferguson, Helm, Jaxson. Like I like that group a lot. I think a few of them are gonna hit.
I am skeptical on Elijah Arroyo. I like him, but if I'm picking fades out of my top 5, it's gonna be Warren and Arroyo. Arroyo, like I didn't even have him on a board before his pro day. Really, did you?
I did. I had him at 6, I think. I liked Miami's offense just because it was fun to watch. So I kind of did watch him a little. He was coming off an ACL in 2022, so 2023 missed the whole season, and then last year with Cam Ward played very well.
That's the thing too. He had like
he reminds me of like Gesicki a little bit. Like that's like he's like a seams guy. Like that just like works in the NFL for tight ends.
Yeah. That's true too.
Yeah, that will definitely keep him on the field. If I were to like comp Aurora, it'd be Gesicki. Mason Taylor reminds me a bit of like Hunter Henry or like Pat Fry. Like they're not gonna more of like a tight end streamer, I guess. But I think he could hit. He'll have a long NFL career. I do like this tight end class a lot. And then there's a guy who we both like now is Terrence Ferguson. What do you think about him?
Terrence Ferguson is extremely athletic, which I think is something you ideally look for in tight ends. So usually ones who test well, flab trap boards. But I think Terrence Ferguson is actually pretty good. He's my tight end 7. I have Jake Browningstool just ahead of him, and you could probably argue either or. Terrence Ferguson could probably be ahead of him. But yeah, I mean, he ran I think he ran the fastest 40 in the class, Ferguson.
Yeah.
Which is like 86th percentile, 4.63. That's very good at 6'5", like 250.
Yeah, all these tight ends are huge. They're all like 6'5" plus.
Correct. Yeah, they're all. Fannon's a little undersized, I guess. He's 6'3", 240. But yeah, all of the guys in the top 10, they're all 6'5", 240 at minimum.
And he won't have just a bunch of hospital balls being thrown to him from Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
If there's anyone else that we like outside of, I guess, 8, we both do have Brainspool. I have him at 9. I do like him a lot as a pass.
He's
back type, like one of those guys.
Yeah, he had a 95th percentile breakout age and 92nd percentile yards per reception. So, both graded pretty well. That's why I had him over Ferguson. Ferguson's more athletic, so there might be something there. Browningstool was not nearly as athletic. He ran like a 4.75 or something. But yeah, outside of those guys, I like Jalen Conyers and then Luke Lakey from Iowa. He was top 5 in both rec yards per team pass attempt and rec yards market share for his career, for amongst these tight ends. So I think
from tight end you. So.
Oh yeah, Iowa.
So I have I think we both have. I have him at 10. You have him at 9. You said.
Lakey, I got him at T9. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have Mitchell Evans is one of my sleepers. He had a knee injury last year, but looked pretty good. He's back to normal. I did see he had like a 90 percentile 10-yard split, so it looks like he's back and healthy. Tight end is always kind of tough, especially when you get it lower. I have Bryson Nesbitt just because Drake made him look good. Hopefully he goes to the Patriots. Knocked your boy, what's his name from Florida State? Off the chart, but we'll see.
No.
Jaheim
Wait,
Bell.
from Florida State?
Jaheim Bell.
Oh, yeah. My deep tight end stash, like never gonna touch my roster.
That'd be my Bryson Nesbitt of this year, probably.
Yeah. I like Mitchell Evans. I think he's good. Bryson Nesbitt is pretty good, but really undersized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd be more of like an age, like no, he's not gonna do anything.
Actually, I don't think he's that undersized. He's just slow as shit. Yeah, he runs a 4.9.
Our guy Kyle is into Jaheim Bell. You always have to find one.
Wait, Bell will be
fullback
this year.
Fullback. I don't know. He doesn't block like that, does he?
I don't know. Kind of. If they don't draft tight end in this class, then
I think the Patriots have.
What is tight end for the Patriots after Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper finish their deal?
That's why I think I would love like
Jaheim
one of these pass catchers, like a Gadsden or someone like that.
Yes. The Patriots need pass catchers. We know that.
All right, we've spent 1 second too long on Jaheim Bell talk.
Yeah, we didn't need that.
But yeah, in general, our tight ends, it seems like we're both pretty high on several players, which you can't really say that often in tight ends.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we want to jump to quarterbacks, where we both the quarterback class just makes me puke. that's really all it is.
Oh, Kyle said Jaheim Bell used to be a running back.
Rabel wants to bring back the fullback position. I could see that, I guess.
Interesting.
Maybe they'll find a way to get him on the field. But.
Yeah, but isn't he like 6'6"? I don't know.
Hey, Thunberg's in the he's in the RSJ league. So Thunberg, if you want to give us like a 4th round pick, we can have.
Yeah.
But yeah, jumping into quarterbacks, we both have Cam Ward. There's not much to talk about there. He's dynamic. He's cool under pressure. He's very nonchalant, which like makes me laugh at some of his tapes where he's just kind of walking around. He's like very swaggy and like whatever. He's cool, but he's maybe off the top of my head quarterback 6 of last year's class, maybe.
Who?
Cam Ward.
Yeah, I would say Cam Ward would be somewhere in between Bo Nix and Michael Penix.
Yeah, exactly. That's like where I'd have him as well.
Yeah.
This part, that's why I'm happy as a Patriots fan they got that out of the way last year. I wouldn't have to be talking myself into Shedeur or someone this year, pretending that he's good.
This quarterback class is just like I've tried not to really give too much of a fuck about it, to be quite honest. But Cam Ward, he's going to go 1-on-1. We know that. The Titans are going to take him. He said it in a live stream the other day. Like Titans are taking him first overall pick.
Where do you have him in Superflex? If you were on the board at 3.
So that's the thing. So for these quarterbacks, I'm fading them in Superflex at least because Cam Ward's likely going to go where? 103, 102 range. I said there's 7 or 8 elite prospects in this class, and Cam Ward is not one of them.
No.
So I would probably put him outside my top 7.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. This class, just looking at it, is just so gross. Right now, we both kind of talked, just talking over the last few days. We both have Dart over Sanders, which is starting to become consensus right now, though. The ECR still has Sanders above Dart. Sanders is just free falling. We're going to get into him with the props, where the props are showing the books know that he is.
Yeah, I don't know why he's falling. I think he'll probably go higher than Jaxson Dart, but I am personally higher on Jaxson Dart. I think Dart's a better passer, better reader in general, and Shedeur has absolutely 0 rushing ability. And Dart, he ran for like 1,500 rushing yards over the course of his career. So he was, besides Jalen Milroe, who obviously is kind of like might switch positions. We don't know. Maybe
he'll be Terrell Pryor playing receiver in 3 years.
We'll see. But outside of Jalen Milroe, Dart had the highest rushing equity in this class. He also had the highest yards per attempt, and he was just short of Cam Ward in career PFF grade. So. that's my reasoning for having Dart over Shedeur. You could probably argue Dart over Cam Ward as well. I would not hate that at all. I like Jaxson Dart. I think he's probably going to be a sneaky first round pick for somebody.
Yeah, he's great under pressure. He's great off play action. I think I saw, where is it? He best quarterback in college football off play action reps. Lane Kiffin's offense led the country in play action rate, and he's super aggressive. He had like a 15 ADOT when you take out screens and swing passes and stuff like that. Loves to throw the ball downfield, design runs, like does it all. Looks sick with the visor, the long hair coming out the back. I do like him. There's
on the field.
I would love for. I don't think New Orleans will take him in 9. I would love him with Kellen Moore. Pittsburgh would be fun. Actually, I don't even know if it'd be fun with Arthur Smith. Probably wouldn't be fun at all. But I think I've talked myself into the Saints maybe moving back in. They're not going to take him at 9.
See, I could see the Saints taking Shedeur at 9.
I've seen
Dart to the Saints too at 9.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is Dart.
And
I don't know.
They had, when did Drew Brees get selected? 2nd round?
Yeah, I think so.
So they, obviously they were looking for a quarterback. They need one. Spencer Rattler's not the guy. Derek Carr's got a lot of injury issues going on. So I think the Saints are definitely in on a quarterback just based off of rumors and that.
But yeah, like our top 3 is the same with Ward, Dart, Sanders, and actually our top 4 with Milrow. I just have Milrow for fantasy purposes. Like if he does get in the game, he'll run around like Anthony Richardson.
He's like way more Justin. Yeah, he's got the rushing ability. We know it's there, but the passing ability, it's like he's like an Anthony Richardson project, but maybe even scarier.
And he's some team I think could draft him in the 2nd round. I've even seen some mocks that have had him like going late in the 1st, which drives me.
Yeah.
If you're just asking to get fired if you take a first round pick.
But yeah, so you were comparing kind of like Knicks, Penix, like last year's class. So if we're kind of like looking at last year's class, Jaden Daniels was obviously first in big time throw rate. Drake May, and then 3rd is Jaxson Dart, actually in big time throw rate. Had a 5.7% big time throw rate. So about 2% less than Jaxson Dart was this high. Cam Ward's going to be pretty good, but like I said, you can definitely make the take that Dart is better than Cam Ward.
I don't hate that. So then I have Tyler Shuck at 5 just because that's a kind of like he's old as dirt. He's like, he throws such a pretty ball, but I mean, who knows? I'm seeing a lot of like he could go in the 2nd round, which is crazy because after that there'll be a huge drop off to like my guy Will Howard, Ewers, McCord, Gabriel, Leonard, like that, just stuff, like whatever they are. They'll be a big. That's like the cutoff is like Tyler Shuck, and then the next quarterback will go like probably 2 rounds later. So that's kind of just a landing spot thing someone made with like a.
I gave some respect to your Ohio State native Will Howard, actually from Kansas State. But
that's why I only respect him.
Yeah, he's my my QB5. I don't know if there's anything there. Maybe he's your Mr. Irrelevant, or it could be Dylan Gabriel. That's my QB6. Obviously, he played like 60 something games over the course of his college career. So he is well seasoned. Like Bo Nix.
If Gabriel was like 6'2", I would like him so much more. He may be like 5'10".
Yeah, and he may have like 8-inch hands. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Dart, something about Dart, it's polarizing. Like he's truly like a cool player.
It's how he carries himself. He has the clear visor. He has the little like lacrosse hair coming out of the back. He has the one leg sleeve. Like he's coming from Lane Kiffin's offense, so he's gonna be cool.
Why was like Ole Miss was like 1st in passing grade this year and like 10th last year? Like who whose fault is it's Dart. So I think Dart had a large say in pumping Trey Harris.
I know. I wish he stayed healthy the whole season this year. They would have put up some numbers.
But yeah, so that's kind of my reason too for having Trey Harris lower. But I think Jaxson Dart is very good. He had like a 97th percentile yards per attempt.
Yeah, honestly, outside the Ward Dart, I don't care about Shedeur. He's my fade. I mean, it's everyone fades Shedeur because everyone hates him from Colorado getting fired. But he's
are a lot of people
great. Like, when you dive into him, he's not good. Is the thing. I mean, he's really not. It's great for Colorado. Turn the program around. They did do a great job this year. They went from 1-11 to 5 wins to now 9 wins or whatever it was. Yeah, I just don't. It's gonna be a team looking to sell tickets. It's gonna be a team that.
Oh my god! And the Travis Hunter Shedeur jersey retirement. I mean, don't even get me started, man. That's just like.
Still haven't retired Cordell Stewart yet. Unbelievable. Brought him to like a 10-win season.
Cal said he likes Dart, but I think he needs to develop, so it really depends where he goes. Yeah. I mean, he's 21. He can probably sit for a year or two if needed.
Teams don't even do that anymore. They're just worried about not getting fired. So it's like they'll throw him to the fire at some point for sure.
Yeah. There are teams that are in dire need of a quarterback.
I think Pittsburgh, because Mike Tomlin just has like a lifetime contract, it seems, at this point. So if they took Dart, they probably wouldn't start him right away. The Saints would probably start him after 2 weeks because Rattler is just a disaster.
Well, no, Carr's not even going to be ready for the season, is he?
I don't think that's a little fishy to me. It seems like they're trying to get out of that contract. There's like some I don't know. That thing's definitely a little sketchy.
I kind of sense the same thing.
But yeah, I could see him starting New Orleans within a few weeks. There's no other real teams that are like in that unless the Browns come back in.
Says throwing him to the fire could kill him, though. I think Dart relies on his first read too often. Well, yeah, when your first read's Trey Harris.
I also feel like Lane Kiffin's offense, it kind of simplifies things for people, but like running a ton of play action, there's what else do I have? Led college football in completions of over 15 yards. He's really good under pressure. Like he's probably my favorite quarterback in this class.
I agree. I think Dart is the best value in this class. And I'm at cost. I'm fading Ward and Shedeur. I don't think any quarterbacks outside of those top 3 are like NFL ready, really.
Yeah, just like looking down on my top 12. So like Tyler Shuck, I think he's 100 years old. So I like him actually if he was a few years younger. And his injuries too, like they were all bone breaks. They weren't like ACLs or blah blah blah.
Cal said best arm talent, definitely. See, that's the thing. It's like, the argument that Shedeur is going to hire, or in most places he is, from what I've seen. But he has a worse arm than Jaxson Dart, probably.
He's horrible under pressure.
No mobility whatsoever.
He's gonna have like. Do you remember that Stephen A. Smith quote when about the announcements? He's really mobile. It's like no, he's not mobile at all.
Exactly. And like if you're a tape guy, even if you watch the Travis Hunter tape, like Travis Hunter is just extraordinary. It's not so much Shedeur making crazy throws; it's Travis Hunter making crazy plays.
And even he had Jimmy Horn. He had that other kid.
Jonte Wester was pretty good.
Yeah, those are 3 NFL receivers on his team.
Those are all guys that are probably going to get signed by teams
playing in the Big 12 that doesn't play defense either. So, they miss me on Shedeur. As we go down, Howard obviously a little biased, but
you got a little bias. I don't think Howard's bad at all.
No, I could see him as a lifelong backup. Like he'll spot start. You could see him like start for one of those shitty teams for a year. Put up some fantasy points. He can run the ball. He has a pretty good arm, good deep ball. Big guy. He's like 6'6", what, like 2. He's like exactly Josh Allen size, I believe. When they both came out.
Is he really?
Yeah, that was a big thing in the Gruden thing. In the Gruden camp,
he's 6'4", 235.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Isn't Allen like 250?
I think no, it was their combine measurements.
Oh, I see.
Off by like one pound or something. After Howard, I have Quinn Ewers, which it just means after Howard, I think that.
I'm not even ranking Ewers. I'm not gonna even rank Ewers.
I just had him just to fill up.
Will Howard had over a 90th percentile in QBR and breakout age, and was just short in yards per attempt. So, like,
he's good on the ground too. Like,
there might be a Mr. Irrelevant, Mr. Brock Purdy, and Will Howard.
Yep, I could see that.
Anyone
else, like, we don't like yours? McCord, I don't love. I mean, he was a 5-star, played with Marvin Harrison in high school, went into like the most friendly system maybe ever. The guy threw the ball 10,000 times last year.
Oh my God, no! Did you see the video recently on Twitter of Tyler Show just throwing an absolute like duck?
Yeah, that like underhand thing.
Yeah, it was like a cool sidearm, like something you've seen like a movie.
It was like fluttered up and down. I have Ewers, McCord, Gabriel, who would be great, but he's 5. The picture of him next to Herbert and Bo Nix, he looks like a little kid.
He's
Riley Leonard. He has the size and the athleticism, nothing else. Can't throw the ball. Curtis Rourke has played the entire season on ACL, which is crazy. And he actually brought them to the playoffs. So.
But when he played, he was good.
Yeah, no, he played through the entire season with the ACL injury.
Oh wow, that's insane.
So yeah, he never even I was like, yeah. So he'd be like, he's gonna go undrafted anyways. But yeah, that's about it for the quarterbacks. If you have anything else to add there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for quarterbacks. I don't think any of them are elite whatsoever.
No.
I'm pretty much full fading all of them. Jaxson Dart is the only one I really am interested in at value. But yeah, Shedeur and Cam are just, in my opinion, far overvalued. If I was an NFL GM, I'd take Travis Hunter 101 8 days a week and twice on Sundays. So I don't know what I didn't know that the Titans were that QB needy. They got Will Levis. I know that he's pretty bad, like one of the worst in the game. But I still would probably take Travis.
Yeah, I think I would too.
And figure QB out in 26 or 27 because the Titans aren't doing anything this year anyways.
And 26 looks decent. I know they're probably going to lose. Arch is going to go 27 probably. Nico, Nico's going to be homeless and who knows with him. And then there's like Drew Aller and a couple others.
I like it's literally just Yamaleva, IR, and Arch pretty much. Those are the top 3 for 2026, I'd say.
Yeah. I like Nussmeier could have a big season. That's about.
Yeah, Nussmeier, definitely a prospect. Who's the other one?
I think I would be waiting on a quarterback. If I were the Titans, I'd either trade back or take Hunter. Wait for a quarterback in 26, 27.
They could probably get a haul, too, for 101.
I don't think so.
I feel like there is going to be a big trade, though, this year just because, like, I feel like there's going to be more reaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, outside of even if you take, like, your blue chip list of mostly fantasy players, there's not a ton of – there's a really good edge class, I feel like. And then the O-line kind of sucks. The tackles are very wishy-washy. Patriots can go Campbell at 4, which isn't great at all. But
it's crazy that Brady Cook had like a top 10 O-lineman and still sucked so bad this year.
Yeah, that was a tough watch.
The whole 2024 Mizzou.
We were texting during that BC game in like week 3, and I was like, "Oh, this team was really good." Like 6 months ago, they brought everyone back, and they are way worse.
Yeah, and also I just want to say that I am a Jayhawk fan. I went to school at Kansas, and I have Burden as my wide receiver 1. So there is absolutely no bias there. I hate Mizzou with all my heart. But Burden's very good, and that's a very good football player. So I haven't fully decided yet, super flex wise, exactly where to put him. It's Burden.
I have him at 7, and I'm +4 against ACR, which is crazy when I'm at 11.
That's 7 is even crazy to me. I would go even higher. Like you can maybe argue Loveland and like a tight end plus or something.
I have Loveland going off at 11. I'm +3.
But yeah, I go back and forth pretty much every day about the 2 and 3 running backs and the 1 and 2 wide receivers on whether or not who should be above who. Obviously, running backs are in real life and fantasy just not as valuable. But
I don't know. It's starting to swing. It's starting to swing. It's starting to swing a little bit. I feel like
it is. You're right.
Now that teams lightened up and they start using all these nickel packages, now teams are starting to run the ball. You see the Eagles, obviously, but I think this running back class is going to change everything.
This running back class is going to absolutely change the landscape for a lot of current running backs. Meaning, a lot of them are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised to see still getting jobs.
Yeah, as a Chiefs fan, Pacheco, I think his time is done. I think he's passing the torch.
Henderson at 31.
I want to fade Henderson. Personally, I would rather just, Chiefs particularly, get O-line. We need O-line. And I would probably spend picks on a new tight end and a new running back in round 2, 3, 4. If I were the Chiefs or really anybody, this class, running back and tight end wise, is very deep. So I don't know. I think those two positions are at utmost priority in this draft. Wide receivers are going to be like hit or miss. Burden and McMillan are really the two that I'm like not worried about.
Even though you don't like him as much, I'm not worried about Ibuka.
Yeah, I know.
Fantasy wise, maybe not as much, but in the real life, Ibuka is just going to be like a mainstay slot guy. Like there's outside, like after that, once you start diving into those receivers, as we already talked about, that's like where it falls off for me. Like the Golden, Harris, Higgins, Noel, Beck. Sorry, like who knows about that? And yes, Campanelli, we do know that. I'm the 101 of ball guys.
Like after my wide receiver 7, I think there's a pretty decent fall off. So after like Trey Harris, with like Matthew Golden and Jack Beck and all them, like those are your hit or misses. And even Trey Harris could be like totally hit or miss.
I agree with that. Like after, about like my tier 3s, Harris, Higgins, Noel, Felix, just like so So there's I know you said you didn't hit it as much as I did when it comes to props.
The draft props.
I do have some interesting ones that I wanted to throw out there. So Shedeur Sanders. 10 days ago on ESPN Bet, which I don't use, I'm actually banned from it. But 10 days ago on ESPN Bet, he was minus 270 for going in the top 10, and now he's plus 300.
Huh. Wait, to go top 10?
Yeah, to go top 10.
What is Dart to go top 10?
So I don't have his top 10, but I do. Actually, I can look it up. But right now, Dart's over-under is 25.5, and Shedeur's is 21.5. They basically think Shedeur is not going to – he's falling past Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is, 21 or 22? That's probably the line of what it is. And basically they're saying that teams are going to be trading up for one of them. So I thought those are very interesting. And then the Jags, there was all that steam because Mason Graham was like locked in. Yeah, I think it was like minus 600 to go 5 to the Jags. Now
And now
Genty's
they're looking at Genty.
at minus 165. And then someone who they're basically saying they're going offense. Like, I think the Mason Graham thing is dead. I've seen this a few times today on Twitter, like NFL Insider types. Tet at 5 is plus 650. That's not something I would like go for 100 on it, but like, I don't know, $20.
Yeah. I feel like Ted is not gonna go that high. I think he's gonna go top 10. I think he's gonna go like 9 or 10.
So his over under is 12.5.
Okay, yeah. I would probably
But that's the Cowboys at 12. That's why.
Oh, wait, the Cowboys are at 12?
Yeah.
Could see the Cowboys taking that.
So those ones are interesting. Genty's still at 165.
What
now
about the Niners at 11?
Yeah, I can see that as well.
They just got rid of
Especially did you hear yesterday Devontae Adams saying that they did offer him, like they lowballed him?
Oh, really?
They are looking at a receiver. So yeah.
Well, they knew he wanted to go to the West Coast, so I'm sure the Rams, Chargers, and 49ers all sent him a hello.
And then if we want to just bet our top 4 QBs, we can do a QB exacta: Ward, Dart, Sanders, Milrow. That's plus 370. I like that a lot.
That's nice.
And then I have a plus 1,000 receiver exacta where we go Tet, Golden, Emeka, and then Higgins as the 4th receiver off the board. And then Luther, I think, was the favorite. I think it goes down a little bit. This was actually like the lowest favorite. I could see a team liking just like having that big X receiver. Teams love those like sideline guys. It's just a roll of the dice, it's plus 1,000. And then there's also a FanDuel does this top 10 parlay where you can parlay, I think, up to 8 guys. No, top 10, I think you can parlay 4 max, and then you can parlay the first round up to 10 guys. So a top 10 parlay: Jalen Walker, which everyone seems to love now, Membu, Kelvin Banks, which Kelvin Banks is like, I don't know what's gone on the last few months. He was like consensus tackle 1 a few months ago.
Now he's not.
Completely fell off the board to nothing. And now this week is like Kelvin Banks week, where now everyone's saying, oh, he's a lock for the top 10. So now I'm confused. Like, he may be tackled 2 or 3 and go in the top 10. I've also seen him to the Jags as well. And then Tyler Warren, who we think stinks, but will go top 10. So those 4 plus 188, which I don't mind that.
I mean, so who do you think are going to go top 5, like in real life? It's probably going to be Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, 2 maybe, and then or Travis. One of those 2 are going to go at 2. I know the Browns are interested in both. And then, whoever gets Travis is pretty much got the both.
He's going to Cleveland. I think he's like minus 1,000 now.
Is he really?
Yeah. I'm gonna pull up.
I just love the fit with the Patriots for Travis Hunter so much.
I don't know. It'd be a disaster to go to Cleveland then or the Giants. Campanelli's a big Giants guy. Campanelli, who do you like at 3? Who's your dream scenario?
For like an NFL team, any NFL team?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, if you know Cam Ward's going 101, it would be one of either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter.
Gerard Mayo needs to be arrested for war crimes. I cannot believe that happened.
Gerard Mayo had the 101 in the bag and was like, you know what? I'm getting fired, so I'm going to play the starters. And
exactly. So yeah, just going off FanDuel's odds. So we have Cam Ward minus 30,000 to go 101. Hunter minus 1,200 to go number 2. Abdul Carter minus 600 with Shedeur at plus 600 with number 3. Number 4.
David said, I'll kill myself if Sanders goes 103.
So just in case if you do that, I would put a bet in for Sanders at plus 600 just so you can like at least have something in your bank account when you
go. I'll feel worse than when I did when the Falcons took Penix at 8 last year.
Yeah.
That was a bad pick.
I like Penix.
Still is.
Okay.
I still don't like that pick.
I don't mind what he showed at the end of the year, but he's old.
I think I hated what I saw at the end of the year.
Really?
From just Penix at least, but that's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people are still like kind of high on him. He got high draft capital, but for me, that means nothing. He was like QB6 for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what he ended up being. Or
what?
He ended up being drafted QB5 or 6.
QB3? No, he went before Nix and McCoy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Like and Bowers. Like if you're the Falcons, you took Penix over Bowers.
Well, first of all, the Falcons are never ever going to draft a tight end in the first round again. So,
yeah. He said, "I'd rather light my money on fire than bet on Sanders at 103." Yeah, very true.
I'm saying if he's gonna KMS himself
at
103, you might as well.
Might as well.
We get Campbell at minus 450 to go forward, Genty at plus 650. 5, which is the Jags, Genty minus 130. I'll drop to 130. Mason Graham 210. So I would do the Genty minus 130. You get him around even. It's not terrible. It seems like they could trade out of that too. There's like that 5 is like I know it's very cliche to be like the draft starts at 5, but I think it does start at 5.
It does kind of start at 5. Like, well, who else? Mason Graham.
Graham is 210, Tet 650, Membu 1500.
I bet Mason Graham probably goes to the Patriots, honestly, at 4. I bet it's gonna go.
That
1 is Ward.
That would be, if you want to do that, that's plus 2,500. They have Patriots going Campbell, Genty, Carter, Membu, Graham, Walker. Walker at 3,000 actually isn't terrible if they want to go edge. I also don't love.
Do you think it's a real possibility that Genty goes 5 to the Jags?
Yesterday there was that quote that was like, "He's our missing piece on offense." And then I saw a funny tweet.
What are they going to?
There was a funny tweet that I forget.
They better trade Etienne, or I'm going to be pissed.
I know that sucks.
This whole draft is just gonna there's gonna be a lot of frustration in terms of like fantasy leagues. Like a lot of your players are going to be buried in the graveyard by these running backs.
There's some interesting, just a few props before we head out of here. Team to draft a Myron Hampton. Broncos are number 1 at minus 110. Steelers at plus 850. Commanders plus 900. I can't see Commanders.
12.
No, he's not getting past the Bears, I don't think.
No, Genty's not getting past the Bears. Absolutely not. But right now, the favorite is Ward, Hunter, Carter, Campbell, Genty. That's minus 150. That's the favorite. Yeah. So I do think the Patriots probably do go for Will Campbell after missing out on Abdul and Travis.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, everyone's going to say, "Oh, T-Rex arms, blah, blah, blah." He's such a Vrabel guy, like such like that hardo with like the paint going down his face.
Oh, Will Campbell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The in-game.
Like I can just picture like in his pre-draft meeting with Vrabel, they're just like yelling at each other and like being tough like guys. And fucking bellies.
He's a locker room culture guy. That's perfect for Vrabel.
Yeah, they need that. And then they could. I would love like a Higgins in round 2. They're like one of those receivers.
Jaden Higgins?
Yeah, I could see him follow 38.
I think. I mean, I would easily.
Or your boy Luther Burton.
Yeah, I would easily take him in the first 2 or 3 rounds. But for in terms of outside of the first round, I think Io Manor has the highest like upside for real and fantasy. But Igbukah is going to go in the first round.
Yeah, there's what else do I have for any more? Broncos first pick being a running back minus 150. That's the favorite there with receiver at like plus 200-ish. What else do I have? I said Ted McMillan's 12.5. And then you said how many receivers do you think going in the first? 4? Or is it 3? They don't, so not counting Hunter. Hunter doesn't count.
Not counting Hunter?
Yeah.
3.
3. So the over under is 2.5 with the over at 250 and the under. Oh no, the under is plus 250. Over is plus 185. Oh no! I sorry, I read that wrong. The under is plus 250, and then I have the running back one, which is over 2.5 is plus 185.
Wait, they don't count Hunter?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
But it says it on like it just says not counting Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, personally, my favorite prop is Burden plus 225 to be taken in the first round. That's really the one I deep dive into.
You want to speak it into existence? Okay.
I'm going to speak it into existence. Well, also, I mean, an NFL teams just absolutely take the value of like an elite prospect like that at the end of the first. I just don't see how you miss that. Even if you're the Chiefs and you got Rashi and Worthy, I'm still taking Burden as my wide receiver 2 or 3. Like, I don't care. I'm taking the value.
He's plus 300 on FanDuel right now.
Yeah. So I would go for both of those, to be honest. The over-under for wide receivers taken in the first round and Luther Burden. If you like Luther Burden and go in the first round, I would just take both. Both are at good odds. So
Tyler Shuck down to plus 250 to go in the first round.
That is such a fade. It's like, I can't believe this guy is actually being talked about, if I'm being honest.
The guy's also actually, like, if no one really knows who he is, so he went to Oregon. He backed up Justin Herbert for 2 years. That's how long ago that he was in college.
That's insane.
It's absolutely nuts. And then he's in Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields' recruiting class. They've both been in the league for 4 years, 5 years.
2020, 2021, Fields was drafted.
Yeah. Crazy. There's some other interesting to be picked in the first, like fantasy wise. Dart minus 350. Trevion Henderson minus 115.
I do like this. Omarion Hampton is plus 500 to be drafted by either the Cowboys or the Commanders. I could see him being a Cowboy.
It's the Broncos. Well, I could see him being a Cowboy, but I think the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos are in the middle of those two teams.
Yeah, Broncos.
If the Broncos pass on him, then it'll go to the Commanders.
Broncos is interesting. They have a running back carousel. I like Aldrick Estime. Others don't. Most don't. But if you can get a Hampton, obviously he's better than Estime. So
I would like, being biased, Henderson with the Commanders. Take that Eckler role. Eckler's dirt anyways. I mean, he was okay at the end of last year, but
guys and running back.
Yeah. But that's the perfect guy to Brian Robinson, just bang between the tackles, and then Henderson can do like third down stuff.
Yeah, that would be a perfect role for Henderson.
Yeah, it's on the speed there. That'd be. I
actually like the Brian Robinson Jr.
I like Brian Robinson. I don't know why.
He's awesome. Also, I don't know. Maybe it's just like the aura of like getting shot and coming back, and like the many men, was playing, and he comes out. I mean, that was sick.
That was, yeah. And he's a physical runner. That's like the perfect compliment for Henderson.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have. Mason Taylor plus 120 to go in the first round. So that's above Milrow. That's above Burden. It's above a bunch of guys, which is kind of sketchy. I don't know if I like him in the first round.
Okay, so another thing that's kind of interesting is that the Giants, they signed who? Jameis Winston and who else?
Russell Wilson.
And Russell Wilson, that's right. But with those two signings, there is absolutely zero future. So they are probably, or maybe, might look at quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Trade back in for Dart.
And I know there was that video of Shedeur and Malik Neighbors throwing in New York like a year ago. But there's a prop on here that's like the Giants to select Travis and Shedeur, and it's plus 1,100. Imagine if the Giants.
What about the Browns? Who you going for the Browns for both of those?
I'm not
Travis is
sure.
likely going to the Browns, so I could see Dart with Dayball would actually be pretty good if he even makes it to the end of the year.
That is so interesting. I mean, with Neighbors, you can make Shedeur Sanders look good.
Yeah.
He is a completion merchant.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll throw accurately, but it's just whether he can read a defense or not or avoid sacks. He was like third and had the third most sacks this past season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could totally. I mean, why do they have it on here? There's no other team on here except the Giants to select both Travis and Shedeur. Interesting.
Let me see. Yeah, there's Shedeur Sanders to be drafted 15th or later, minus 370. Jeez. He's gone from like me hoping and praying he goes 3 to now he's not even going in top 15.
Oh, this one's interesting. Oronde Gadsden to be drafted by the Miami Dolphins.
Is that on FanDuel?
It's on Bovada for plus 600.
Nice offshore.
Nice offshore.
That's how you get crazy on the offshore book.
Oh yeah, they got
they have
the best specials. Are you kidding me?
I was gonna say they have the Oronde Gadsden props.
They have I just mentioned the other day on the running back podcast that why does Skadabo seem like a 49er to me? And they got a prop on here. It's Skadabo to be drafted by the Pats or the Niners plus 600. I'd take that.
Two teams that love like that.
Skadabo is such a 49er. It's not even funny. You know?
I can see that.
Yeah, that's a great fit.
But yeah, so
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we've hit on all the positions. The draft is tomorrow. We'll probably be back next week. I'll probably have Dracoff come on next week, the Wolf, Mr. Wolf himself. Talk some ball after he's done feeding the child. Guy chooses his newborn over fantasy. It's unbelievable.
That's rich.
It is what it is. But yeah, it's going to be a crazy weekend. We have Thursday, round 1. Fridays at round 2 and 3, and then the rest on Saturday.
And then your fantasy drafts this weekend, and then we'll come back and wrap it up and probably move some guys around rankings wise.
Yeah, actually, maybe I'll wait. We'll rip it on either Monday or Tuesday, and I'll wait and try to do live draft or live rankings.
Oh yeah, we could do one of our rookie drafts live or something like that.
Yeah, we'll do like a super flex mock, and then we have the Roto Street one that'll come up probably in the next few weeks.
Yep.
If you want to go to the website, rotostreetjournal.com, my rankings are on there. One day, Tanner's rankings will be on there.
Correct.
About that for months. We'll figure out
what.
I have been hitting a bunch of rookie content if you guys are into that. But other than that, there's not much going on right now. I think the draft wakes it up for everybody, not just like the sickos that write about LaQuint Allen for 1,000 words.
Yes, love it. Love LaQuint Allen. Let's write more words on LaQuint Allen. I don't know. It's just I'd rather watch the NFL draft than anything else that's going on right now, except maybe my Celtics and Blues. The Celtics are probably we're probably an hour into the game. Yeah,
we're at halftime, 50-47 at half Celtics.
It's close because Tatum's not playing. But
exactly.
All right. Yeah, well, that pretty much wraps it up for ball talk here. We will see you guys for episode 3. I will probably, upload something to Twitter or something like that. Kind of like a recap of my rankings and such. Yeah, it was
actually let's do one more quick thing with you. If you could name your 5 guys, who are they?
My guys?
Yeah, you're my guys.
My guys are probably going to be.
If you go one quarterback, who is it?
Okay, one quarterback. My guy, Jaxson Dart.
Let's say we'll do 3 running backs since there's 20 of them.
Okay, my guys for running backs are going to be Genty, Caleb Johnson. Oh wait, are we doing
No, let's not do. Genty doesn't count.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Genty doesn't count. If we're doing my guy, low undervalued guys is what
you
we're
can
saying.
Start at Caleb Johnson and then go after him.
Caleb Johnson, Ollie Gordon, my guy. That's my guy. Devin Neal, yes. That's an absolute value for everyone everywhere in real drafts and fantasy drafts. He's going to be awesome in rounds 2, 3, 4. I like you mentioned LaQuint Allen. So what's another like my guy that obviously for tight end is going to be a Rondé Gadsden. And
then like two receivers.
Two receivers, probably. Well, we know Burden, but Alik Iomanor, that's going to be my guy. That, like I said, he's in real life and fantasy one of, if not the best value receiver outside of the first round, in my opinion. So yeah, that's a huge value. Jaden Higgins too, very very high on him. So yeah, these are mostly my guys. But if we're doing like one tight end, one wide receiver, one quarterback, it'd be like Jaxson, Dart, Luther Burden, Colston, Loveland, and Caleb Johnson for all three. My guys. So yeah, those guys are all elite to me.
Sweet. All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed before, if it's your first time watching us from Tanner's Twitter or on YouTube. Who knows who it hits. But we'll probably have the Wolf on next week. Hasn't been on in a few weeks, but we'll be good to go. And happy draft to everyone. The season
happy draft. We will see you guys soon. That is ball talk for today. Later.
All right. See you guys.